welcome to this week's coffee vlog. It's Friday the 17th of June and I'm heading home from Wakefield for a change. Not actually started this at Wakefield because I wanted to get out of Wakefield and I wasn't... It's a while since I've driven the road, so I didn't want to be trying to concentrate on getting myself out of Wakefield and talking at the same time. So we're now on the M62, so just a short dash down here to the 606 and then pretty much home then. So it should only be about 20 minutes or so. I might stop it earlier if I run out of things to say. So I've been to London today, bit of a change of scenery. I've been down to a presentation on sort of speciality coffee roasting by Scott, whose books I also sell a lot of on Amazon, I've probably mentioned before. And he was doing a presentation down at Proof Rock Coffee in sort of central London, as it were. So I got the train down to King's Cross because it's not too far from King's Cross, and then I would have walked, but I was the train was delayed this morning, so I was a bit late when it got in, so I had to get a taxi to the actual coffee shop, and then I walked back again, so I had a bit more time then. And yeah, it's been a really good day actually. Learnt a lot of new and interesting information. This is kind of like fine-tuning your coffee roasting. So you can buy your coffee roaster, and obviously you can put the amount of coffee that the roaster manufacturer says in, and you cook it, for want of a better term, or a prescribed amount of time, and when it's brown you take it out again and that's your coffee done. Which you can do, but if you want to make your coffee the best it can be and taste really nice, there's a lot more to it, and looking at temperatures and changing things, because there's a lot goes on with the coffee beans as they roast, and that can influence what's happening with the roast and then how the overall end taste of the coffee comes out. So it's complicated stuff, it's not that easy. So and Scott kind of takes it to the next level in a way of getting the best from the coffee and also getting repeatability. So he's on about consistency, roast after roast after roast all the time. So it was interesting stuff, a lot to take on board. Yeah, it's been pretty good. So that's been my day today, kind of like a day off, I suppose, even though it's been a 12-hour day so far. It doesn't seem much like a day off to me. But yeah, a bit of a jolly down to London and learn about roasting and tried a couple of good coffees as well, so learn something new every day. So this week, what's been going on? What exciting stuff? Has of course, I totally forgot about it last week. It was WWDC this week, Apple's Worldwide Developer Conference. Forgot all about that, taking part. Caught some bits of it, haven't caught all of it to be honest, because we had other stuff happening at home, and I've not had a chance to catch up since, really, to be honest. But overall it looked like it was pretty good. No hardware announced, which is probably no great surprise, it's a developer conference, but they do sometimes stick some hardware in. And I think a few people were kind of looking to see some updates to maybe, I don't know, so the Macs, or maybe the Mac Pro getting a bump, and other stuff, but no, none of that, sadly. So what we did get is some goodness in the form of iOS 10, which I tentatively ended up installing. Yeah, iOS 10, whole host of new features. They've gone quite sort of overboard with this new styling again, another new style, and bringing in some new bits and pieces. And yeah, I'm gonna admit, I was kind of like, oh, you know, first beta, it's always going to be a bit buggy and a bit of a nightmare, and apps won't work and whatever else. So I was a bit. But the thing was, if you had the developer profile already installed, then it comes up as an over-the-air update anyway, so it wasn't even hard to install iOS 10 because I'd already got the developer profile installed. Obviously, and I'm not really still sort of bang on about this. You can get around without having your device UDID on a developer account. I really wouldn't risk that, to be honest, because I mean, I know there was reports of lots of people getting stuck on an activation screen post install on the over the air. I mean, there is supposed to be kind of ways around it and whatever, but I think, you know, if you're going to try it, at least try it correctly with a developer profile and also your account registered to a developer account. Otherwise, you know, especially if it's not so bad if it's just your, you know, your iPad that you just want to mess about and whatever else. I put it on my phone, which is a stupid thing, a stupid thing to do anyway. But at least I know it's on a developer account, so there's not going to be any activation issues or whatever else. But other than that, it's actually amazingly pretty good for the first beta. It's not giving me much jip at all. It has its odd moments of crashing. I had a couple of times today mail crash. I'm saying that mail crashes all the time on iOS anyway. So they haven't introduced new mail crashing bugs. It's just the same ones are still there. They haven't fixed them. But other than that, it's been pretty stable. I get the odd spring. I was doing a bit of multitasking earlier on today, and yeah, it didn't like that. It didn't like me switching back and forth between apps, and it's like just do a respring randomly. And I think the music app once this week as well decided to completely spit the dummy out, and when I eventually opened the app to look at it, it told me that the cache was null and could not be transferred or something like that. Which was a bit like, oh, all right then. Apparently I should be in the inside lane. It's always confusing when you don't know if you're supposed to use the hard shoulder. Okay, I will. So yes, the music app crashed and wouldn't stream anything. But other than that, it's not been too bad. I do like the whole look of it. I did tweet out something that lots of people picked up on that hadn't been mentioned, and that was it told me when I parked my car. It automatically gave a notification to say you parked your car. Thanks very much. Knew that because I've got out of it, but I've got out and left it, and it said, right, here's a notification, this is where you parked your car. I'm like, oh, that's kind of handy. You know, when you're out and about, if you have a tendency to park your car, go off and forget where it was, which I've done, then yeah, that's a handy feature that it does it automatically. I can only presume it's because I have my phone hooked up to the car Bluetooth hands-free and audio, and it's kind of detecting the fact that it's disconnecting from the car hands-free to then say, right, you've left your car, and then making this sort of parking notification. And it doesn't seem to do it on known locations. So, you know, if you're at home or if you're at work or whatever else, when I've been parking there, not a problem. It's not been giving those notifications. So that's quite kind of good that they also worked out not to give you nuisance ones. I thought that's what you were doing. Even though the Audi behind me got much grumpiness because I braked when I shouldn't have done. Well, one day I shouldn't have done. And you as well. Everyone is getting. You see, this is the weird thing, because they say use the hard shoulder, and then the hard shoulder becomes the off lane. So then everyone wants to dive in it that wasn't using it, even though you're supposed to be using it. But then you're only using it if you're the slowest vehicle. It's too complicated for this time of night after a long train journey, I'll tell you that much. So yeah, iOS 10 pretty good. Some nifty new features. They've kind of moved the widget display of notifications to the left. Well, you swipe left or right on the home screen. They moved it on there anyway, so you've got notifications on the main bit, and then you can swipe left to get your widget sort of display, and right to get the camera. The right to the camera is very handy actually. That's a good idea, and make it a lot easier to get at the camera. Now, I know you used to have the little grabby thing you could pull up, but this is kind of more automated. Right, so now Andy was grumpy, is wanting me to let him in. Okay. So, so they moved that, got that, and they do seem on the general, the notifications pull down from your springboard. It seems now that that is only really wanting to show you notifications. And I'm not sure if it's just a sort of another bug in the first beta, but quite often I'll pull it down and you can't swipe left to get those widgets. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. It's a bit sort of flaky, not really sure if I'll bother or not. So I don't know if they're trying to do away with that, because you can now, those notification widget bits have been stuck also in the Spotlight search page. So when you go to Spotlight search now, you'll see these widgets there. So before you'd get some odd bits of information there, now your sort of whole widget display is linked up there. So I'm kind of wondering if they're wanting to just keep that pull down of notification center for notifications and that's it. I'm now going to make a Land Rover very grumpy because I haven't got the grunt and he has, so I'll let him go and I'll follow this guy instead. Look, see, more grunts, considerably more grunts. So other than that, macOS, not really surprised. Everyone predicted that they would drop OS X and it would become macOS and iOS and tvOS and watchOS and SOS. And yeah, macOS, we got 10.12 Sierra, and I also endeavoured to install that because what the hell, install all the betas and endure the bugs, why not? Well, actually I only installed it on the MacBook Air for now. I didn't put it on the main Pro, just to be on the safe side. I wanted to get everything work first, because of course you can trust things won't work. But much like iOS, and I've got to admit, I think with iOS, the reason why most stuff is working quite well is because it's it's because I don't think they've changed much in the core system software, as it were. They've just kind of like meddled about with things and changed graphics and done, you know, odds and ends of tweaks, but they've not really changed the main foundations of stuff. Because I think really when we had iOS 9, they did a lot of changing of frameworks and things, and that's what really killed apps off and made lots of apps not work, or you had problems with them, whatever else. And I'm not sure they've done as many changes. And similarly, Sierra seemed to have installed and it was just fine. It was all working the same as it was prior to that. There's no issues. I mean, previously, El Capitan, things like my, was it a big cure? I use iStat menus for menu bar information. About him tanking along at a rate. I thought he was going to tank into the back of me for a minute. Yeah, iStat menus, that didn't work when El Capitan first came out, because they changed some of the way that the menu bar was displayed, and that worked straight off the bat there, so that was good, no worries there. And yeah, everything I've tried so far seems to be working well. I seem to have got more room on the MacBook Air somehow without getting really rid of anything. So I don't know if there's a bit of degree of app thinning gone on or whatever else. And I did tweet out today as well while I was on the train, I did notice that there seem to be a lot of options for optimizing the MacBook now. And there's one in particular that kind of suggests that we can make use of the iCloud storage I have to offload apps, and I'm not sure about apps, but documents and things to iCloud to save up space on the Mac. So now I'm not sure it would just keep them in iCloud and just download it as needed onto the Mac. And also there was an option for email to save space by offloading email attachments you didn't need and just download them when they were required instead of whatever else. So there seem to be a few sort of space saving as well, so I think Apple are really thinking about it. I suppose in theory they need to, because of course the MacBook, is it 12-inch MacBook? But the MacBook anyway, you know, because it's got only one port, it's got very limited connectivity to anything. You're kind of really riddled or stuck with the storage it has, so making the best use of that storage is pretty essential. So yeah, there's definitely some nice looking enhancements going on with macOS. I also noticed that they've kind of brought all the notifications in line, to the iOS notifications and the macOS notifications, and the notification center on both are now kind of merging and very similar. Of course, also got Siri on macOS Sierra. Gave it a try a couple of times. I doubt I'll use it very much, but it's there. If you like using it, you do. You know, I don't really use it that much on my phone either. I do use Siri on the watch a lot because it's there next to me, and it's really handy, especially times when driving. If you want to get Siri to change music, or if you've had a text come in and you need to do a sort of a voice to text reply, then it's there for that. There's all sorts of reasons why that is good. So, strange move, but if that's what you want to do, I'll pull back a bit so that Leon can nick past him if he wants, because I think he might want to. He looks like the kind of guy who's going to do an undertake. So yeah, that's all good as well. So all Apple goodness from WWDC, and I'd totally forgotten it was even happening. Well, I knew it was coming up, I'd just forgotten. So on the whole, my impressions are iOS 10, it's pretty stable. You know, if you really fancy trying it, then get on and give it a go. Just make sure you do have your device UDID linked to a developer account. Just don't go for this gung-ho, oh, I'll just install it and it'll be okay, because the chances are it won't. At some point something will go wrong, or it'll get stuck on activation and you'll have a bit of a nightmare. But you can of course always go back if you need to by putting in DFU mode. I'm pretty happy at the moment, I'm going to admit. I think I'll stay on it. I didn't notice on Twitter a few people had sort of backtracked and gone back again, but I'm not. No, I think I'm going to stick on iOS 10 and ride it through to the bitter end. Well, it's release anyway. Not that that'll be so bitter really, because yeah, I'm enjoying it. Actually, it's good. It's nice. It's made my phone interesting again. I've used it a bit more. I haven't, crucially, haven't installed Watch OS3. Oh no. I made that mistake with Watch OS2 last year, and you know, there was a good carrot last year because there was those time-lapse faces. I don't actually use the time-lapse face very much. I use the complications, the modular face complications more now. But there was that sort of carrot then. But yeah, I wasn't falling for that again, where you'd end up with dreadful watch battery life. For example, now if I'd Watch OS3 on now, 12 hours after it had gone off charge, well, more than 12 hours, this would be dead. And I've seen people with Watch OS3 sort of saying, you know, 6 hours maximum battery life, and so yeah, I'm not falling for that mistake again. I love my watch too much now and use it for so many useful things that I'm not just going to be getting on with a few hours battery life. I'm not dragging a charger about with me all day just to make sure it's charged up when I need it. So haven't fallen for the Watch OS 3. Gotta admit, I don't know if there's a huge amount of good stuff in there. The thing is, you know, they say we're going to have quicker loading watch apps, which is going to be fine, but that won't happen until the developers update their watch apps and the corresponding iOS app as well. And again, from experience last year, they didn't do it until pretty much when the iOS 9 was released properly and Watch OS 2. So the same thing's going to happen. In fact, some didn't even release the sort of the watch apps until well after Watch OS 2 was released. So, you know, a long time after. So there's not really any point in trying Watch OS 3, I don't think, unless you're a bit of a sadist or you're super desperate. Because the other problem with it is iOS 10 on your iPhone, iPad, whatever else, if you're not happy with the reliability, if it's crashing a lot and giving you issues, you can downgrade back to the currently signed firmware 9.3.2, I think it is. But on the watch, once you go up to Watch OS 3, that's it, you're stuck with it. Until the bitter end, you've got no chance of downgrading with the watch, unless you take your watch to the Apple Store as faulty, and you might be looking, look at it swapped But as most will perhaps be out of warranty now, unless you've just recently bought one, then you'll most likely have to pay for a sort of repair on your watch just to get it off the beta watch OS. So not the greatest idea, and like I say, I've not fallen for it this time. And clouds are open now, aren't they? So that's pretty much it for me and WWDC. All good. I'd like to know when we get some new hardware, but we'll just have to wait and see. Also, other news is, of course, because E3, the big gaming event, I don't know anything about gaming, sorry, but the E3's been on. What I know is we had Star Wars Battlefront had a massive big promotion, triple score event over Sunday. I don't know where it ran to. I got in Sunday and Monday, I got some gaming in, and then I was too busy the rest of the week, so I didn't get a chance to make use of it. I think it was running until maybe Wednesday or something, I'm not sure, but triple score event. Best score I did a great round Monday night, 33,000 I got with the triple score going on as well. I normally get like 3,000 or 5,000 a game, so to give you that idea, 33,000 is just a massive amount. But I just got a massive kill streak on as well. It just, everything went right for me on that particular round. Sometimes I'll just do it and it all goes completely wrong, and I don't know why. I don't sometimes. But this one, it all went perfect. It was great. So enjoyed that. I am now up to level 59.5, so I nearly got to 60 to get Weequay. Not much further to go. But yeah, other than that, it's been good. I really enjoyed it. And on top of all that, next week we get the new Bespin download, which is the paid for content, the new downloadable content, which is Bespin the Cloud City. Got new hero, which is going to be Lando Christian, and a new baddie, which is Dengar, which is a completely unknown baddie, but it is basically some bounty hunter in a turban. That is it. What is Ellis doing out in the pouring rain, the loo? Is it Ellis? No, it's one of the neighbour's kids. I still don't know what he's doing out in the rain. So yeah, new maps, new content, new heroes, all goodness going on with Star Wars Battlefront. So I'm pretty excited for that. I've had some days off, so I'm hoping tonight to get back on, because I've been missing it. But it's been a busy week and stuff on, and I've just not had a chance. So there you are, that's my week. I'm back home. Yeah, I left home pretty much about this time to go to Wakefield, to get on a train to London, King's Cross, and go to Proof Rock Coffee and enjoy Scott Rowe's talk on coffee roasting. There's only about 12 people there, so it was quite a close-knit thing, and everyone had questions out, except me, because I was more soaking up the information rather than questioning his judgment or anything else, or trying to find out answers. So, but that was good. So 23 minutes, it's going to be a long vlog. I'll try and get onto it tonight, but if I get distracted with Star Wars Battlefront, it might be Saturday night when you get to see this. But I'm sure no one cares really. When it shows up, they'll just watch it if they fancy watching it, and if you don't. So have a good week next week, and I'll catch you in next week's coffee vlog.